Well, the turbo is on and it's running. A little bit about what I have done since the last video. I installed the KO4 turbo. Here I have a 4-AN line that comes in for the oil feed, and it fills, or it supplies off of that far side on the block. And then on the coolant, I have a 6-AN line that comes down, comes off of your drain plug, off of your water pump, and then it returns back in the thermostat housing there. Kind of something else I've messed with is on the turbo. I'm not running the stock setup. I am doing boost control. So the atmospheric one I have capped. The blow off I have connected in with your intake for the math, so hopefully it can still read it. And then I added the MAC valve, which goes in back to your turbo, as well as the oil catch can that runs in off and into your valve cover here. So I also used ZZP, their LSJ entry level charge piping to go into your LSJ throttle body, your LSJ intake, which then is cooled using a dual bypass, as well as option B, which is right over there. On that, I did have to drill the top plug there to that way to be able to actually make it work for my current setup. So I also switched to a 2.5 bar T-map sensor, so I'm reading the temperature off of the charged air versus ambient air temperature on the MAF. So there was a little setup that I had to do, a little wiring that I had to do for that, but it wasn't terrible. No real issues there. And then for your fueling system, I did go with a fuel pressure regulator that then comes down to this fuel filter, and then I also added in an AEM 85 fuel pump. I am currently running 91 octane. I don't plan on going to E85, mainly just due to the complexity of it, not having a flex fuel sensor to read the ethanol content. So that's kind of where I'm sitting right now. Those are the modifications I have done since the last video. My GFB G-Force 3 is actually mounted right here. And then again, still the same old gauges that I've had since I got this car. So I also added in the DF Goblin, or the DF supplied tow bar, which connects right on that front portion here. So then I have the chains as well to make sure everything's safe. So wiring into the BCM was not really a big deal. Everything worked out just as I expected. So a couple issues that I have noticed and I'm still kind of concerned about, which I don't know how far I'm going to go with it, but previously I was getting my oil pressure from this galley plug here, which is in the head, and I understand it is lower than what it would be in the block. But prior to doing all this, I was getting roughly 30 psi. That was with the old head, not cleaned head, so forth. Now I'm getting 10 psi. Otherwise, I've added 272 cams, same rockers, same lifters, everything's the same there. But the 272 cams did require a small shim to make it to where everything's set up okay. So I'm not sure kind of where to go from here, if 10 psi in the head is okay, but I did switch my oil pressure to be off of that block there. So no real issues. I'm getting like 60 at temp for psi for oil pressure, so I'm fairly okay with that. So that's perfect. That's right where it needs to be. Just kind of concerned about that head psi, but I did pull off the valve cover again, and the valve cover's got oil all over the top of it. So I mean, I'm oiling it. Everything seems to be oiling. I just have concerns in regards to that change and difference, and I'm not sure why I'm having that. So anyways, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave it in the comment section. Otherwise, follow, and I'm gonna roll in some of it, some footage of it anyway, that is running. So anyways, thanks for watching.